to study the uniform series. The third factor here is a uniform series compound factor. Uniform series compound factors. Suppose that we deposit an amount of $8 at the end of each period for n periods. If the interest rate is small I, you can find the total amount at the end of n periods, F, by summing the compound amount of the individual deposits. Okay, uniform series compound factors we can understand in Vietnamese that hệ số tính giá trị tích lũy của dòng tiền đều. Hệ số tính giá trị tích lũy của dòng tiền đều. Okay, uniform series is also called, another name is the equal payment series. Okay, uniform series or equal payment series. Okay, that's the same meaning. Uniform series and equal payment series. Look at the figures. We can see that suppose that we have uniform series A, uniform series. The number of compound pairs is the n, 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on, n. Okay, and we have a given interest rate small I. So you have to find the future worth here. What is the future worth? S. Okay. In order to find the future worth, we can use the single payment compound factor. We can use the single payment compound factor to calculate the future worth of x value sub A. Okay, x value sub A at every period. Okay, and then we sum up to get the future worth of uniform series of A. Okay, and then we have this formulas. F equal A times a factor here, 1 plus I to the power n minus 1 divided by I. And the term 1 plus I to the power n minus 1 divided by I is called the equal payment series compound factors, or the uniform series compound factors. Okay, its notation is F-A-I-N. That means phi F given A-I-N. Okay, that is this factors, uniform series compound factor. Okay. Yes. Now, another factor we study here is a sinking fund factor. Sinking fund factor. Sinking fund factors in Vietnamese, we can understand that's hệ số vốn chim. Hệ số vốn chim. Okay, hệ số vốn chim. It is the converse of the uniform series compound factors. So that means that we have the future worth given, a given future was, and a given interest rate, and a given number of compounding periods. Okay, we have to find the uniform series of A. Yeah, have to find the uniform series of A's. Okay, so from these formulas, we convert to find the A. Okay, from these formulas, we convert to find A. Here, these formulas A equal F comes here is factor I divided by 1 plus I to the power n minus 1. And the term I divide by 1 plus I to the power n minus 1 is called the equal payment series sinking fund factors, or just the sinking fund factors. Okay, sinking fund factors is denoted at here. Phi A given F I N. That is sinking fund factors. Okay, now let's do the example number 5. Do example number 5. Suppose you make an annual contributions of $5,000 to the savings account at the end of each year for 5 years. If the savings account earns 6% interest annually, how much can be withdrawn at the end of 5 years? Okay, please do this example. Now, the first we have to examine the number of compound periods. How many compound periods here?
5 periods.
How many compound periods here?
5.
5?
Yes.
Okay. 5 compound periods. Okay. Now, we use the which factors do we use here? Which factors? Which factor do we use here?
Factor is close about the
in this example, we have to find the
given
future was. Okay.
Yes.
In this example, we have to find the
Future what?
Future was.
Yes.
So, please draw the diagram. Cash flow diagrams. The cash flow diagrams includes 5 periods. Okay. 5 periods, and we have equal payment series of 5,000 at each period. Okay.
Yes.
The direct arrows. The direct of arrows is dawat. Okay, is dawat because we push us monies into accounts. Okay. So we have
Future what?
Equal series of 5,000 at every period with the the direction of arrows is downward. Okay, is downward. And then we make up arrows is F at the end of 5 years. Okay, and we use single equal payment series compound of factors, equal payment series compound of factors, or uniform series compound of factor to calculate the future worth. So it means we use these formulas. We draw cash flows like that, okay. And A is 5,000. A is 5,000. And N here is 5, okay. The interest rate is 6%, okay. And we use this formula to calculate the future worth. F equal 5,000. 1 plus 0.06 to the power 5, okay, minus 1 divided by 0.06 was. You understand?
Yes.
Yes.
Now look at the example number 6. You want to set up a college savings plan for your daughter. She's currently 10 years old and will go to college at age 18. You assume that when she starts college, she will need at least $100,000 in the bank. How much do you need to save each year in order to have the necessary funds? If the current rate of interest is 7%, assume that the end of year payments are made. Now, the daughter is currently 10 years old.
Yes.
And yeah, and when go to college at 18, that means
8 periods.
We have cash flows which is 8, okay. The cash flows has 8 periods.
Yeah.
And each years you
It's the factor you need to find out.
yes, and
Future what is the 100,000?
we have the future worth of 100,000, okay.
Yes.
Future worth of 100,000, and the interest rate is 7%.
Yes.
Okay, you have to find the n worst, okay.
Yes.
You have to find the n worst. So in this example, we have to use the sinking fund factors. Okay?
Yes.
Sinking fund factors. Here, we should draw the cash flow diagram here. The number of periods is 8 periods, and the interest rate is 7%. And we have a given future value of 100,000 here, 100,000. So then we have to find the equal payment series and what's A here, okay? And we use this formulas. I equal 100,000 0.07 divided by 1 plus 0.07 to the power 8 minus 1. That is That is the money, the amount of money you have to put to the banks every year from now to 8 years after now, okay, to get $100,000. Okay, when the daughters go to the school. Okay, do you understand?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, now come on. We study the uniform series present was factor. Uniform series present was factors. These factors in Vietnamese is hệ số tính giá trị hiện tại của một dòng tiền đều. Hệ số tính giá trị hiện tại của dòng tiền đều. Uniform series present was factors. That means we have given uniform series of a given n was. We have a given n was. A given interest rate and a given number of periods. We have to find the present was P, but V. Now, in order to find the present was P, there are two ways. The first way, we can use the single payment present was factor. We can use single payment present was factor to calculate the present was of each use of A. Okay. From here, convert to here. From here, convert to 0, period 0. From here, convert to 0. From here, convert to period 0, and so on. We sum up the values of each variables, okay, and then we have the present was. That's the first way. And the second way, we use the uniform series compound malfactors. Uniform series compound malfactor to calculate the future was. That means we use these factors. From the n was, we convert the future was. Okay, we use the uniform series compound malfactor. Calculate the future was f. Then from the future was f, we convert to the present was by taking the single payment present was factors. Okay, we use a single payment present was factor to convert the future was to the present was. Okay, that's two ways to calculate the present was. Then we have the general formulas here. P equal I times a factor here. 1 plus I to the power n minus 1 divided by I times 1 plus I to the power n. And here, this factor. This factor is called the uniform series present was factor, or the equal payment series present was factor. Okay, and its denotation is PAIN. That means 5P given I and given n. That is uniform series present was factor. Okay, now the capital recovery factors. Capital recovery factors. Capital recovery factors. In Vietnamese, we can say that hệ số hồi vốn, hệ số hồi vốn, hệ số hồi vốn, hoặc là hệ số tính giá trị san đều. Hệ số tính giá trị san đều của dòng tiền đơn ở hiện tại. Look at this figure here. You can see that we have a given present was, We have the given number of pairs, okay, and we have the given interest rate. The question is that we have to find the n was, okay, this problem is converted from the previous problems, okay. It converts. So from these formulas, we convert to get these formulas, okay. A equal P yeah. This factor is converted up the equal payment series present was factor. Equal payment series present was factor. Okay. So this factor is called the capital recovery factor. Capital recovery factors or equal payment series capital recovery factors. Yeah. Phi A given at I n. Now, example number 7. Example number 7. Your daughter intends to study in Montreal for 3 years. Your daughter intends to study in Montreal for 3 years. The cost for living there is $500 monthly. You want to set up a savings account so that the daughter could withdraw monthly an amount for paying living cost. Sometimes the current rate of interest is 0.6% per month. How much will you need to put into account that ends of month's payments are made? Okay. In this example, the payment bearers or the payment bearers is months. Okay, the payment bearers is a month because the daughter could withdraw monthly an amount for paying living costs. Okay, so each month she can withdraw an amount of money from the bank, okay, for living costs. So the payment periods is months, and the compound periods is month too, because we have the interest is 0.6% per month. 0.6% per month.
Yeah.
So in this example, we have to find the number of periods or number of periods. The periods to be used to calculate is the months, okay? And the time to study in Moran is for 3 years. So each year includes 12 months, okay?
Yes.
So the number of periods, the number
36.
36, okay. The number of periods is 36. Okay, so we use uniform series present was factor. It's we draw the cash flows like this. We draw the cash flows cash flow diagram like this. With the number of periods is 36. 36. And the annual values are equal payment series. Equal payment series is $500. Okay, $500. And the interest rate is 0.6%. Okay, 0.6%. And we use these formulas to calculate the present was P equal
500
times
with minus
plus 0.006.
Yeah.
Because interest rate is 0.6%. So here is the 0.006 to the power 36. Okay, that's it. And here is the 0.006. Here, 0.06 to the power 36. Okay, so the present was it's the amount of money we have to put into. We have to set up a saving accounts. Okay. That's example number 7. Now, please do example number 6. Example number 6. Suppose you want to buy a car. If you pay now, it costs you $25,000. But you cannot afford to pay now. You want to make an equal payment at the end of each month for 20 months. How much should the equal payment amount be if the interest rate is 0.8% per month? In Vietnam, we call this is the mua xe trả góp. Okay.
Yeah.
In the example, the number of periods is 30. The interest rate is 0.8%.
Yes.
And the present was 25,000. Okay. We have to draw a cash flow diagram like this.
Capital.
And the number of periods is 20. the present was 25,000.
Yeah.
And we use this formula. A equal
50,000. 25,000.
Okay. The interest is 0.008. 0.08 and to the power 20 because the number of pairs is 20. You understand?
Yes.
Okay. So far we have to study 6 factors. These six factors is very important. Very important. We have to use this factor to evaluate the project and to compare the alternative to select the best alternative to invest. So please understand it deeply. And now we continue to another factors. Such is arithmetic gradient factors. Arithmetic gradient factors. That means in Vietnamese đây là những cái hệ số dùng để tính giá trị tương đương, hệ số dùng để tính giá trị tương đương của dòng tiền chuỗi số học. Dòng tiền chuỗi số học. Arithmetic gradients. Arithmetic gradients. An arithmetic gradient is a cash flow series. A cash flow series that either increase or decrease, either increase or decrease by a constant amount. The cash flows, whether income or disbursements, change by the same arithmetic amounts each period. The amount of the increase or decrease is the gradient and is denoted as G. Okay, the amount of the increase or decrease is the gradient. And is denoted as G. For example, the cost of maintaining the machine will increase by $500 per year until the machine is retired. So, a gradient series is inverse and the amount of the gradient is 500. Okay? In fact, the typical problems involving a arithmetic gradient series includes an initial payment during period 1 that increased or decreased by T during some numbers of interest periods. And look at the diagram here. Okay, here. For example, we have the cash flows here. And these cash flows, the values of cash flows increase. And this cash flow is a disbursement cash flows. But the values of each period is increased. Okay, increased by values of t. Okay, and here the pairs 1, at the pairs 1, the cash flows is A1, and then from the pairs 2, 3, 4, and so on, have the values of cash flows increase by a values of t. Okay, so at the pairs 2, the cash flow is A1 plus t. At the pairs 3, the cash flows is A1 plus 2t. The cash flow, the pairs 4, the cash flow is A1 plus 3t, and so on. And at the pairs n, the cash flow is A1 plus n minus 1 times t. Okay, that is the. Now, in order to use arithmetic gradient series to solve typical problems, we use the cash flows as a set of two cash flows. So means we separate these cash flows into two parts. Here, the first part here. The first part is equal payment series of A1. Okay, it's an equal payment series. Equal payment series, and plus the second part here. These cash flows start from the pair 2, okay, to n. It's a t, 2t, 3t, and so on, and n minus 1t. Okay, and this part is the arithmetic gradient. This part is arithmetic gradient. Here, look at this look at this cash flow diagram, and this diagram, this cash flow is the values of each pairs is decreased. The values of each pairs is decreased by amounts of t. Yeah. As the pairs 1, the cash flows is A1. Then from the pair 2 to n, the cash flows decrease by amounts of t. So at the pairs 2, the cash flow is A1 minus t. As the pairs 3, the cash flow is A1 minus 2t, so on. And as the pairs n, the cash flow is A1 minus n minus 1t. Okay? And we also separate these cash flows into two parts. Yeah, into two parts. The first part is equal payment series of A1. Okay, A1. Yeah. Equal payment series. Then we use the minus sign here, not plus sign. Okay, minus sign. Here, the second part, this part is the arithmetic gradient. And the question is, the question is, how to find, suppose that we have this cash flows. Suppose that we have this cash flows. We have to find the future worth of these cash flows. Okay, and how to find the present worth of these cash flows. Okay, and how to find the end worth of these cash flows. Okay, we have to calculate to find the three values: future values, present values, and annual values. Now, in order to find these values of these cash flows, for example, we have to find in order to find the future worth of these cash flows, we only find the future worth of this part, okay? Future worth of this part and the future worth of this part, okay? Here is a uniform series, and the future worth of an uniform series, we can use the uniform series compound mode factor, okay? Uniform series compound mode factor to find the future worth part. Okay. Then we only study the way, the method to calculate the future worth of this part, and this part is arithmetic gradient. Okay. Yes. And now, how to calculate the present worth of this cash flows? Present worth. In order to calculate the present worth of this cash flows, we have to calculate the present worth of this part and present worth of this part. Okay. This part is a uniform series. In order to find the present worth of an uniform series, you can use the uniform series present worth factor. Okay, uniform series present worth factor to calculate the present worth of this part. So we have to study the way to calculate the present worth of an arithmetic gradient. Okay. Yes. Now, the question number 3, how to calculate the end worth of these cash flows. In order to calculate the end worth of these cash flows, we have to calculate the end worth of this part and plus end worth of this part. End worth of this part is A1. Okay, A1. That is the equal payment series. Okay, we do not have to calculate any. Okay, so we have to study the way to calculate the end worth of an arithmetic gradient. Okay. Now, come on. Here, here's the formula to calculate present. What's formula to calculate present was up an arithmetic gradient. P, present was okay. P equal G divided by E R small I, and here these factors. So this is the formula to calculate the present was up an arithmetic gradient, and from this formula we have the arithmetic gradient present was factor here. This factor is the arithmetic gradient present was factor, and denoted as here P G I N. That means 5P given G I N. Okay, now come on. That is a formula to calculate the inverse. A equal G times a factor here, and this factor is the arithmetic gradient uniform series factor. Arithmetic gradient uniform series factor. Okay, and come on. That is the formula to calculate the future was. Formula to calculate the future was. Here F equal G, yeah, and this factor, time factor, T time a factor, and here is a factor. The factor is the arithmetic gradient future was factor. Okay. Now, let's study an example. Okay. Okay. Now we have a short break. Okay, short break.
Yes. Okay.
Now we study the examples for the arithmetic variance. Okay, a person raise a fund by depositing at the end of each year. The first amount deposited is 5,000, and the deposit will increase by 2,000 per year. The fund earns interest at rate of 8% per year. What is, we have three questions. What is the equivalent present values of the fund? And what is the equivalent future values of the fund? And what is the equivalent annual values of the fund? Okay. Yes, in order to these problems, we draw the cash flows you have drawn the cash flows diagram. Now, this cash flows, yes, here, cash flows. The N is 10, okay? Because the
10 years.
okay, 10 years. 10 years. Yeah, we use this cash flows diagram.
Yes.
Is 10 and is 10. And A1
5,000.
is 5,000, okay? And G
2,000.
2,000, G 2,000, okay? And we separate these cash flows into two parts, okay? The first part is the equal payment series. Here N is 10, okay?
Yes.
A1 is 5,000, okay? A1 is 5,000. And now this part N is 10, N is 10, and G is 2,000, okay, 2,000. Now, the first question, where to calculate the present was. The present was of this cash flows. The present was includes two values. The first value is the present was of this cash flows. And the second is the present was of this cash flows. Now present was of this cash flows, we use the equal payment series present was factor. Okay. We use the formula to calculate the present was P equal A1 is 5,000 times
Time with the 1 plus 0.08.
Okay, 0.08 to the 10 minus 1.
Minus
1 divide by
0.08 minus with time with 1
plus 0.08 to the power 10. Okay, that is the first value. And in order to calculate the present was of arithmetic variance, we use these formulas. Okay, we use these formulas. B equal
2,000.
Okay, 2,000. I is 0.08. Okay, and N is 10. 10. Okay, replace the values into this formula to calculate the present of arithmetic variance. That is the answers of the question number 1 of the first question. Okay.
Yes.
What is the equivalent present values? And now the second question. What is the equivalent futures values of the fund? Equivalent futures values of the fund. Okay. Now value here. The value. We calculate the future values of these cash flows. Plus the future values of these cash flows. Okay?
Yes.
the future values of this cash flows, we use the equal payment series compound factor. Okay, the formula to calculate the future was is F equal
A.
5,000.
Yeah, 5,000.
With 1 plus O by O to the power 10 minus 1 divided by O by O8. Okay. Now the future values of arithmetic gradient, we use this formula. Yeah, we use this formula. Replace G, I, and into this formula. F equal 2,000. Okay, G is 2,000. I is O by O 8. N is 10. Okay?
Yes.
Okay. That is the second question. Now, the third question. What is the equivalent annual values of the fund? What is the equivalent annual values of the funds? The annual values of the fund, includes the annual values of this part plus annual values of this part. Annual values of this part is A1. That is 5,000. Okay? 5,000. And the annual values of this part, we use this formula. G is 2,000. Okay. And I is O by O8. N is 10. Okay?
Yeah.
That is the arithmetic gradient series. Arithmetic gradient series factors. Now, the last one, we study the geometric gradient series factors. Geometric gradient series factors. In Vietnamese, we understand that đây là những hệ số tính giá trị tương đương, hệ số tính giá trị tương đương của dòng tiền chuỗi hình học. Geometric gradient series. Geometric gradient series đó là chuỗi hình học. Ok.
Slide bọn em không có.
The cash flow series increase.
Thế em là thầy slide thầy gửi em có cái phần này ạ?
Slide thiếu phần này à?
Vâng ạ, thiếu phần geometric này thầy.
Thế thì có khi tôi bị gửi nhầm rồi, để tôi sẽ gửi lại nhé.
Vâng ạ.
Tôi sẽ gửi lại cái các bạn có nhìn được đây không hay là phải file?
Bọn em đang nhìn được ạ.
Ok, nhìn được, tôi nhìn được đã nhé, xong rồi tôi sẽ gửi file sau.
Dạ vâng.
The cash flow series increase or decrease from period to period by a constant percentage. Okay, so geometric gradient series is the cash flows is different from the arithmetic gradient series. Arithmetic gradient series that the cash flows increase or decrease by amounts of money. Okay, but the geometric gradient series, the cash flows increase or decrease by a percentage, a constant percentage. Okay, the difference. Many forms of cash flows like that, such as operating costs, construction costs, revenue, and especially the inflation. We use symbol small t to denote the constant rate of change of the cash flows. Yeah. Two kinds of geometric gradient cash flows. The first kind of geometric gradient cash flow is the cash flows increase. Okay, the cash flows increase by a constant percentage of t. Okay, so the first values of cash flows at the barest 1 is I1, and then the cash flows increase by a percentage of t. Okay, from period to period. So at the period 2, the cash flow is I1 times 1 plus t. The cash flows at period 3 is I1 times 1 plus t to the power 2, and so on. And at the period of n, the cash flow is I1 times 1 plus t to the power n minus 1. Okay, that is the geometric gradient series with cash flows increase. The cash flows increase by a percentage of t, small t. And here, the geometric gradient series with the cash flows decrease. The cash flow is decreased by a percentage of t. Now, as a period 1, the cash flows is I1. And from period 2 to n, the cash flows decreased by a percentage of t. That means as a period 2, the cash flow is I1 times 1 minus t. As a period 3, the cash flow is I1 times 1 plus t to the power 2, and so on. As a period n, the cash flow is I1 times 1 minus t to the power n minus 1. That is two kinds of geometric gradient series. And the question here, we have to, the question here is, we also have the three questions. The first question is how to calculate the present worth of the cash flows. How to calculate the present worth of the cash flows. Okay. And the second question is how to calculate the future worth of cash flows. Yes. And the third question is how to calculate the annual worth of the cash flows. Okay. Three questions. And now we answer the first question. In order to answer the first question here, in order to find the present worth of a geometric gradient series, it depends on the interest rate and the percentage of gradients. In this in the geometric range series. In order to, when we calculate the equivalent values of money, when we calculate the equivalent values of monies of the geometric gradient series, there are two kinds of percentage rate. Okay, the first kind of percentage rate is the interest rate to be used to calculate the equivalent values of money. And the second kind of percentage rate is the rate that the cash flows increase or decrease. That is the G, small g. Okay. So the calculating the equivalent values of money of this cash flows, it depends on the interest rate and the rate that the cash flows increase or decrease. So that means it depends on the small I and small t. Okay, it depends on small I and small t. And there are two situations. So first situation, is the small I is different from small t. Small I different from small t. For example, the interest rate is 10%, and the rate that cash flows increase is 5%. 5%. So the interest rate is different from the percentage rate that the cash flows increase. Okay, that means the small I different small t. If the small I different from small t, the formula to calculate the present worth of the geometric gradient series is P equal A1 times factors here, a factor here. Okay. In this factor here is G. G is the percentage rate that the cash flows increase or decrease. Okay. And I, small I is interest rate. Okay. And N is number of periods. Okay. And this factor is called the factor, the geometric gradient series present worth factor. Geometric gradient series present worth factor. Okay. Now the second situation is small I equal small t. Small equals small t. So means the interest rate equal to the percentage rates that the cash flows increase or decrease. Okay. When the small I equals small t, we use this formula to calculate the present worth of the geometric gradient series. Okay, P equal A1 times N divided by 1 plus I. In this formulas, N is number of period. A1 is the values of the cash flows at the period 1. Okay, and I or G. Okay, I is the interest rate. Okay, so we have the two formulas to calculate the present worth of geometric gradient series for two situations. Okay. Now, after solving for the present worth, we can use the single payment compound factor to calculate the future worth of the geometric gradient series, and the equal payment series recovery factor to calculate the end worth of the geometric gradient series. Okay. First of all, if we want to calculate the future worth of the geometric gradient series, okay, if I is a different G, we use these formulas and time the single compound factors, that is the 1 plus I to the power n. Okay, because a given P phi f, we use these formulas n times a single compound factors, that is 1 plus I to the power n. We have the future values. Okay, if I equal G, we use these formulas times the single compound factor, that is the 1 plus I to the power n. Okay, it's a very simple. That is the factors we can use to calculate the equivalent values of money for every situation or every cash flows. Okay, these formulas or factors is very important to understand and to calculate and evaluate the projects and to compare the alternatives to select the best alternative to invest money. So please please remember it. And now we continue to study another part of this contents. So nominal and effective interest rate. Nominal and effective interest rate. We can see that in every formula to calculate the equivalent values of money, we have to use interest rate. So far, we have examined the values of money, the interest, and we have developed various interest formulas to calculate equivalent values of money. The interest rate is always stated as an annual percentage rate, but many commercial loans or payments require that interest compound more frequently than once a year. For instance, semi-annually, quarterly, monthly, weekly, or daily. To consider the effect of more frequent compounding, we must understand the concepts of nominal and effective interest. Nominal interest and effective interest. Okay. Now, nominal interest rate. That means lãi suất danh nghĩa, nominal interest rate, lãi suất danh nghĩa. Nominal interest rate small is an interest rate that does not include any considerations of compounding. The nominal interest rate may be stated for any time period, for example, 1 year, 6 months, quarter months, and so on. Nominal interest rate does not reflect the values, the time value of money. Okay, so we do not use the nominal interest rate to calculate the equivalent values of money. Lãi suất danh nghĩa nó không tính đến, không xem xét đến việc ghép lãi. Tức là nó không phản ánh được cái sự sinh lãi thực của tiền theo thời gian, mà người ta thường chỉ dùng cái lãi suất danh nghĩa để phát biểu mức lãi thôi, và nó không dùng để tính toán giá trị tiền tệ theo thời gian, giá trị tương đương của tiền theo thời gian, không được dùng để tính giá trị tương đương theo thời gian, bởi vì nó không phản ánh cái sự sinh lãi thực sự của đồng tiền. Nó chỉ được sử dụng để phát biểu mức lãi. Về lý thuyết thì người ta có thể phát biểu lãi suất danh nghĩa cho bất cứ một cái loại thời đoạn nào, ví dụ như là lãi suất danh nghĩa của 1 năm, lãi suất danh nghĩa của một kỳ hạn 6 tháng, lãi suất danh nghĩa của kỳ hạn của quý, lãi suất danh nghĩa kỳ hạn của tháng, vân vân. Tức là về lý thuyết thì người ta có thể phát biểu lãi suất danh nghĩa theo bất cứ một loại kỳ hạn nào. Nhưng mà trong thực tế phổ biến thì người ta hay phát biểu lãi suất danh nghĩa theo năm. Đấy là cái lãi suất danh nghĩa là như vậy. Và nhớ rằng không bao giờ được dùng nó để tính toán giá trị tiền tệ theo thời gian hay là tính toán giá trị tương đương của tiền. In order to find the equivalent nominal rates from the nominal interest rate for other shorter or longer time periods, we use the equation here. RL equal RS times M, or RS equal RL divided by M, where the RL is the nominal interest rate for the long period, and RS is a nominal interest rate for the short period, and M is the number of short periods in the long periods. Okay, for example, if we know the nominal interest rates of the nominal interest of a quarter is 3%. A quarter is 3% of the quarter. We can calculate the nominal interest of year is 3 times 4 quarter to get the 12% per year. Okay, so if the nominal interest rate nominal interest rate is 3/4, we have the nominal interest rate of year is 12%. Okay, and if we know the nominal interest rate of year is 12%, is 10%. Nominal interest rates of year is 10%. we can calculate the nominal interest rate a quarter is 2.5%. Okay, 2.5%. Because 10% divided by 4 quarters a year, we get 2.5% per quarter. Okay, that is the way to calculate the nominal interest rates from periods, shorter periods to longer periods, or from longer to periods to shorter periods. It's very simple, very simple. That is a nominal interest rate. Now, effective interest rate. Effective interest rate. Effective interest rate is Vietnamese lãi suất thực. Effective interest rate, lãi suất thực. Vậy là lãi suất thực nó đối nghịch với lãi suất danh nghĩa. Lãi suất thực. Effective interest rate is the actual rate that applies for a stated period of time. It is the rate that truly represents the interest earned in the time period. Okay. Như vậy là lãi suất thực mới là cái lãi suất nó phản ánh cái sự sinh lợi thực của tiền theo thời gian. Đây mới là cái lãi suất nó phản ánh cái sinh lợi, cái mức độ sinh lợi thực của tiền theo thời gian. Vì vậy cho nên lãi suất thực mới là cái lãi suất được dùng để tính toán giá trị tương đương của tiền theo thời gian. Lưu ý như vậy. For example, we deposit $1,000 at 18% interest rate per year, compounded monthly. Okay, compounded monthly. So the 18% is the nominal interest rate per year. It means that the interest rate for a month is 1.5%. Why is that? Because 18% divided by 12 months. Okay, 12 months. So 1.5% per month and compounded monthly. When we calculate the equivalent values, of money here, because the compounds monthly, so we have to use the interest rate per month to calculate. So we could calculate the total amounts of money at the end of year is F equal P times 1 plus I to the power. That means 1,000 here, and the number of power is 12, because a year includes 12 months. Okay, the compound period here, compound period is months. Okay, because we deposit at the beginning of the year. Deposit at the beginning of the year is 1,000, and after 1 year, the values is 1,000 times 1 plus 0.015 to the power 12. Okay, we have
Yes.
the values at the end of year is 1,195.62. So in this case, we can say that the effective interest rate for year is 19.562%. Okay, so yeah, it is different from the nominal interest rate. Okay, nominal interest rate is 18%. Nominal interest rate is 18%, but the effective interest rate is 19.562%. It's larger than the nominal interest rate. Okay. So only in effective interest rate is the rate, the actual rate that applies. It is a rate that truly presents the interest earned in a time period. Now, in stating interest, an effective rate has the compounding frequently attached to the nominal rate statement. For example, we say 6% per year, 6% per year, compounded monthly. Per year, compounded monthly. So that means the interest period, the interest period is year. Interest period is year because 6% per year. So we understand that the interest period is the year is year, but the compounding frequently or the compound period is months. Okay, it's months. In this statements, so 6% per year is the nominal interest rate. Now, look at these statements. We say that 12% per year compound quarterly. In these statements, the interest period is year. The compound period is quarter. Okay. So the 12% per year is a nominal interest rate. So in the starting interest, if the compounding frequency is not stated, it is assumed to be the same as the time period of interest. For example, we say that the interest rate is 12% per year. That's only. Okay. So in these statements, we understand that the interest period is year, and the compounding period is also year. And in these statements, we understand that 12% per year is the effective interest rate. Okay. Note that we have to use the effective interest rate to perform calculations of time value of money. Therefore, it is very important to determine the effective interest rate of payment periods before performing time value of money calculation. Okay. Now, in fact, there are many ways to state. The interest rate. It's very complicated. Okay, it depends on the ways. It depends on the way to state the interest rate. We determine we determine which is the nominal interest rate and which is the effective interest rate. Okay. The difference between the nominal interest rate and the effective interest rate is that regarding to the effective interest rate, the interest bearers is also the compound bearers. Okay, the interest rate and the compound, the interest bearers and the compound bearers are the same. Now, regarding the effective interest rate, the interest bearers and the compound bearers are the same. For example, we say that the interest rate is 10% per year, compounded yearly. Okay, that means the interest rate is year and the compound period is year. Okay, they are the same. And this division, the 10%, so 10% here is the effective interest rate. Okay, that is the effective interest rate. But when stating the interest, if the interest period is different from the compound period, the rate is the nominal interest rate. For example, we say that the interest rate is 10% per year, compounded quarterly. That means the interest period is year, but the compound period is quarter. Okay, so in this situation, we understand that the rate is the nominal interest rate. Okay, that's a different from the nominal interest rate and effective interest rate. Now, look at here. Note that we have to use the effective interest rate to perform calculations of time value of money. Therefore, it's very important to determine the effective interest rate of the payment period before performing time value of money calculations. Okay, here, if we have the given effective interest rate, we can find the effective interest rate for other time period as follows. Here, the first formula, IL equal 1 plus IS to the power k minus 1. And here, IS equal k root of 1 plus IL minus 1. In these formulas, IL is the effective interest rate of long period. Effective interest rate of long period. IS is effective interest rate of short period. And K is a number of short periods in a long period. Okay, the number of short periods in a long period. For example, if we have the effective interest rates of quarter is 2%. If we have the effective interest rates of quarter is 3%. We calculate the effective interest rates of year is 1 plus 3% to the power 4.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Yes. And if we have the effective interest rate of year is 10%. Is 10%. We calculate the effective interest of months. Is hence roots of 1 plus 10%. Okay, minus 1. That's the way we can use to calculate the effective interest rate from this period of time to the other periods of time. Okay. Yes. Now the last we have the general formulas to calculate the effective interest rate. Yeah. Computing the effective interest rate by the general formulas. In fact, interest rate is often stated as the annual rate of return. Annual rate of return. But interest compound is more frequently than once a year. Therefore, we have to compute the interest rate for the payment periods and the compounding periods. And we have two formulas here. The first formula is here, and the second formula is here. And this is more complicated. Okay. The first I equal 1 plus R divided by M to the power C minus 1. And here, like that, but in the here M replaced by K times C. Okay. Now, in these formulas, small I is the effective interest rate for payment periods. Small r is nominal interest rate per year or annual rate of return. Because in fact they usually state interest rate at the rate of per year. Okay, per year. M here. M is a number of interest periods per year. Number of interest periods per year, or the number of compounding periods per year. Okay. And C, small c is the number of interest periods per payment periods, or the number of compounding periods per payment periods. And K is the number of payment periods per year. K number of payment periods per year. So it's a general formula to use in these situations. The small r is the normal interest rate per year. For example, we have the nominal, the rate of the interest rate per year is the 12% here, we calculate the effective interest rate for payment periods this quarter. We replace the number of M here, C here. We use this formula in the more complicated to calculate the interest period. And here you can see that the three kinds of periods. The first period is the period of interest rate stated. Okay, it's a year. And the second kind of interest, second kind of period is the payment periods. And the third kind of periods is a compounding periods. They are different in these formulas. Okay. Today we stop here, and I will send you this slide, replace for the previous slide. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.